You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, June 10th, episode 3969, brought to you today by Chewy. Good morning, horse people.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I hate to tell you this, but we're going to be talking about screwworms today. I think you're going to be hearing a lot more about screwworms in the coming months, unfortunately, but it's a growing threat. We're going to go over it. We have a video for you that I want to play, and also an interview about it. But we also have a different doctor on. We have a Danish vet on with us who designed a brilliant new app that catches lameness early. And we actually did this interview earlier, and he was fascinating. We loved talking to him. So he's coming up today. Do we have weird news?
Yeah, we do. We have, weird stuff happens. Weird.
Like screwworms don't sound weird enough, right? I mean, that's the
thing about the screwworms. It's better to be over-informed than under-informed. And then we're going to inform you about a bunch of weird stuff.
So 6 cases now in the United States. We have 5 in 3 different counties in Texas. 4 of those are in cows and 1 of them in a goat. 1 case in New Mexico that's in a dog. And that's further from the border, from the Mexico border than the others have been. So obviously they're going to be tracing that to see exactly how that happened.
In a dog?
In a dog. You know, any animal can get this. So, we have a goat now too. So many states are now implementing animal restrictions coming from the affected areas in Texas. Canada has just barred animals coming up from Texas, and they've appointed a czar now to keep an eye on this. So the government has appointed a senior advisor for New World Screwworm Preparedness.
I like the title of being a czar.
So if you want to be a screwworm czar, I don't know if that helps you or not. But apparently this guy has an experience in food safety in the cattle industry out of Texas, and his name's Bellinger. He's going to be coordinating the efforts to slow this down and stop it. I think seeing what's happening here and the things that we've covered in the past, I think this is going to get worse before it gets better. This is my personal opinion. I think we're going to see a lot more in the coming months, a lot more cases, which is going to mean that there's going to be a lot more bans on horses coming from specific places, if not entire states, which means that you won't be able to bring your horse to go to a horse show in another state. I think we're seeing all of that coming. We don't have the sterile flies. We don't have enough of the sterile flies. If this expands out to a couple of states, we don't have enough sterile flies in the pipeline right now to control it. So just be prepared mentally for what might be coming. You might see horse and cow shows that are not going to run. You might see horse shows limiting. They're already doing that, limiting where horses can come from. I'm sure. There are such a thing as cow shows and county fairs and all that stuff too that are all going to have to be looking at this. So this is not over. It's the reason that we're bringing it up. And Jamie, you found a pretty good video by a veterinarian at it's Karnes City Vet Hospital, which I think is in Texas. This veterinarian really talked about what to look for, and it's only a couple minutes long, and I'm going to play that for you right now because you don't even need to see this video. She was very good at explaining what to look for, what to keep an eye on, and then later in the show, we'll go into more depth about what exactly these critters do with another veterinarian. But let's take a listen to this vet out of Karnes City Vet Hospital.
Hey, Dr. Teresa here. So you heard from Dr. Sean about some of the recommendations with screwworm and for cattle. I think there are some important things to note. For the most part, this is the same screwworm that is going to affect horses, cattle, any and all animals that are potentially warm-blooded. So that is something to keep in mind. I think there's a few species differences that could be important to note. Something that can be very common for horses is that typically they're more handleable and they're halter broke, and we're around them a lot more readily than we are necessarily cattle. That will make it easier for, again, the most important thing, inspecting your animals every single day. Once this maggot shows up in a wound, it can cause devastating damage within 24 to 48 hours. So watching them daily is going to be what's important. So a couple of things on horses that I think are important. A lot of us like to use fly mask. She doesn't have one, but fly sheets, fly boots, those things are great, but they will not stop everything. So if you are using those every single day, you need to make sure you are fully taking them off and inspecting your animal underneath. Make sure that you are looking at their eyes, around their nose, and their whole body, up underneath their belly, where they can get some fly strike dermatitis just from allergies. So those are important things. Again, prevention is going to be the best thing that we can do, and that is going to be your fly sprays. So anything. I personally like Piranha. It's just what I typically have always used. You can use any of your fly sprays that are out there. Applying it once or twice a week is probably not going to be enough. We're in South Texas. The bugs are bigger here. So use things every day, picking them up, looking at them every day, looking for small little wounds. If you notice a wound, using something like SWAT, which is like a Vaseline ointment that has fly repellent in it, using that around a wound can try to help keep them gone. Another thing that we've mentioned is Catron spray. This is made to be used in a wound as well, and so I've not personally used it yet. I've been told it's pretty sticky, which can be helpful to try and keep these flies out of there. But if you notice a wound that has a maggot in it, we need to get that collected. We need to get that tested. Using your fly sprays directly on those wounds, that Catron directly on those wounds is going to be important. We can look at things like ivermectin paste to try to get the blood levels up to try and treat this. We don't use Dectomax in horses like we do in cattle, but I think prevention will be a big portion on this, that we can individualize this. If you have animals that are not halter broke, you have a herd situation, getting out there and walking around each and every animal and looking for those wounds is going to be what's most important. If you have any more specific questions, reach out to your veterinarian. If you're one of our clients, please reach out, give us a call, and we will happy to discuss your situation specifically. Thank you.
From the podcast to the barn, here's some hidden birthday wishes to keep you warm.
We have 3 auditor birthdays today: Allison C., Steph C., and Christy P. Happy birthday to all of you.
I got to throw a birthday in to my bestie, Larissa. She had her birthday yesterday, and so we're going out to dinner tonight. So I'm glad we're not recording in the morning because I'll be hungover.
Larissa actually is probably one of the most talked about people other than our family on the show. So. Also, we have a brand new auditor. We want to welcome Lisa to the gang, and she said nice things about you and I. She's been listening for a while, so welcome, Lisa. We appreciate it.
Thanks. So part of my business here is I've been doing a lot of fitness and rehab for horses with kissing spine, or horses with injuries, or horses that are coming back. It's kind of taken over more of my training because I did this online course about like stretches and lifts and all of these physical therapy activities. So I have had Mazuma, who is an active racehorse. He's been here for about 3 weeks. He came last year, but this time he broke a split bone in a race and immediately went to surgery, had it removed. Everything's all good. He spent 6 months at his owner's house, Matt and Leisha, who were just on the show a couple weeks ago, and then came here for rehab. Well, the level of stress at having an active, incredibly valuable racehorse, son of American Pharaoh, at my house it's crazy. Like, most of my rehabs are all the rescues rehabs, and like I have literally no one to answer to. It's just me, and I discuss things with Nelda at the rescue. Well, this I have owners who are invested in this horse, and it's so stressful. If he like canters out in the field, I'm like, bring him in. Or if he's sniffing over the fence at another horse, I'm like, get away. Like, I need double fence lines for any
you don't
sort
want
of
him out in a
valuable
hailstorm
race.
either, do you?
Oh my God, the level of stress. Well, check this out. I'm like, go out. I bring them all in the morning, and I work everybody before, we record this show. And then later in the day, around 1:30, 2 o'clock, I bring them all back in until 7 o'clock or so. So they get out of the main heat. So I worked him in the morning a couple of days ago, and everything was fine. And then I go back in at 2 o'clock to bring them all in, and he is holding a leg in the air, literally holding his right front up. And I'm like, oh no, that's not good. That's not good. And I'm like, Zuma, come here, Zumi. And he can't walk. And I'm like, oh my God, he's got a broken leg. I don't know if I can handle this. So I call Ginger and I'm like, I need you to get out here because I need help. I don't know what to do, but Zuma's not walking and I am heart attack panicking. So I run out to the field. She's holding him and I'm like moving his leg around, moving the bones, like everything. And I'm like, oh my God. His shoe, he has a shoe on that has a front clip, like a toe clip. And somehow he has popped the shoe off, but then stepped on the toe clip.
Horses will do the stupidest stuff there.
Which is terrible. Like, what?
Yeah, it is terrible.
But it went right in the white line.
But of all the, it should just be sitting in the field. The chances of him doing that are
just pull the damn thing off. But here's the thing: the toe clip is like up in the foot, and he is non-weight bearing. And I'm like, what do I do? Guess who had all the shoe pulling equipment? Farm Boy, and he took it all when he left. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, hold him right here. And I go run into my husband's workshop and I'm like looking for a freaking hammer or something. I don't know how to get a shoe off. This is so stupid. I don't have any equipment for that. Like, that's really dumb. So I'm like panicking. Glenn, in those stories about how like a car falls on a kid and like the mom like lifts the car up off. I pulled that shoe with my bare hands. I was like, oh my God. Like, and so I'm like pulling it away and I like a hammer or something. And I was like, just chucked it in the grass. I was like, I don't need this. And I'm like wiggling and I wiggle the shoe back and forth until the nails break. It's sprung on one side. So I only had to break the nails on the other side. I'm like pulling it up and then he is so mad. And I'm like, dude, you like, stop. I don't know what this is.
They never understand they did it to themselves. They don't get that.
No. And so I pull the shoe off and I'm like waiting for him to completely cripple, walk back up to the barn. And like, after I'm like, by the way, it's 2 o'clock and I'm in full sun and it's like monumentally hot here. And I'm just like dripping with sweat. I ripped this shoe off his foot and I'm like, okay, I got it. Now the nails are still in there, whatever. That son of a bitch puts his foot down and walks right back into the barn. Like, thank you. You got it.
Glad to get rid of that.
It was right behind like where the hoof wall and the sole is, that like white line area.
Yeah.
So it just, it did not poke any
important
structures.
Parts.
Now, mind you, I now have to call his owners and like, I call them.
That's at least not your fault.
Well, it is. I put the shoes on him.
Oh, you?
I mean, not me personally,
okay,
but like my farrier did. But it doesn't matter. So I call and I'm like, and Matt answers the phone, and I was like, hey, and he's like, hello, and I'm like, everything's fine. He's like, okay, what's up? And I'm like, well, I had this little issue, and I'm explaining the whole thing. I hear Leisha in the background. She's like, that's it. You're fired. And I literally into the phone, I go, thank you. Come and get him. I can't take it anymore. It's so stressful. He's too valuable and too fit and too like nice to like live here. I just can't deal with it. Oh, so I'm like, I'm fired, Cole. Of course, I'm like, we're just kidding. You're not fired. I was like, like great. I would have been really nice. I was not. Come and get him. I can't take the pressure. I'm not set up for this. But he's all good now. And he goes home on Friday and everything's fine. And well, you know what? I actually was like, I had to run up to the house and I had been the cross ties. And I was like, I'll just run up to the house real quick. And I was like, nope, I'm putting you back in the barn, taking everything off. We're starting all over again. I am not like, if bubble wrap on horses was a thing, I just have to get him to Friday, just to Friday. Because last time he was here, he kicked through the fence at another horse and like cut his leg. So I'm like, I can't deal 2 days. I have 2 days left.
It's a new rule. If you're bringing a horse to Jamie for training or retraining or rehab or whatever, it can't be worth more than $5,000 or she's not accepting it.
And that's worth way more than that. So I've got to have a cutoff. Like, what is your horse valued at? What is the estimated value? Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
What's his insurance ad? Well, that's right.
I'm not. How emotionally attached to this
animal
are you?
Can you buy insurance on the horses you're training so that it makes you feel better?
Hey, I know your horse is hurt, but here's a check for $15,000.
Go away and don't ever come back.
Oh my God.
And they are the nicest people. We know that because we heard them on the show. They are the nicest people.
They're great. They're great. I'm just testing the boundaries. And so we're good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. He's fine. It's fine.
Well, I'm glad it's fine. And when do you have him till Friday?
Friday.
Oh, that's only 2 days. You can keep him alive for 2 days. Although I did see you're supposed to get some major storms here. You're on the list, so
guess when?
Tomorrow, Thursday night. Bring him in. Not near any big beams or.
Jesus, I didn't even think about that, Glenn. God.
I'm here to help. Speaking of which. You know, Jennifer and I have been through most every national or catastrophic disaster you can think of. We in our travels, we have come across blizzards and, just all the weather, tornadoes, just the whole thing, right? Our house has been hit
You're in the world of hurricanes.
Yeah, our house has been hit by lightning twice. So, We've seen it all, except an earthquake. We had never felt an earthquake. Well, we still haven't yet. Everybody in our neighborhood felt it. So I don't know if you heard, but we had a rare earthquake off of Florida. It was 6.1, down by Cuba, actually. And then yesterday, apparently, was a follow-up aftershock of 4.1. But the 6.1 was felt by people all over Florida. And there's all these videos and stuff, and people in our neighborhood felt it. I was sitting at my desk when it happened, and I still didn't feel it, or I felt it and didn't even register. But anyway, so we were closer. I can say we had an earthquake. We didn't feel the earthquake, though, so I don't think that counts on our list.
I was at Monty's one time, and Debbie and I had gone out to dinner, and we were standing outside of Monty's house chatting before I was going to go down to the bunkhouse. And so we're standing there, and I kind of have my foot propped up against the front of my car. I'm just standing there, my leg cocked, and I just fell over. And I was like, oh my God, I swear to you, I'm not drunk. I was just standing there and I just fell over. And I was like, I said, Debbie, I'm so sorry. I can't drive. I don't know why. I just fell randomly. It was a freaking earthquake that knocked me off my feet. And she didn't even we did not realize it until I got down to the bunkhouse and everybody's like, oh my God, can you believe that? I'm like, what are you talking about? Earthquake. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. See, I'm not drunk.
So you have that on your list. You have earthquake on your list.
Just one so far, knock on wood, but I am going back to California in about a month. Oh, a couple weeks actually. So keep them in Cuba.
Well, don't come to Florida. Apparently we're getting the earthquakes right now. So.
I before we get to the guests, I have to let you know that in my life right now, Glenn, I have a war. There's a war. It's a war. I'm in a battle, and that battle is against flies. I hate them. I hate them so much. I mean, to where I look forward to winter because it's become a big problem in my mind. I just hate flies. I've got the fly predators which are amazing. I just bought the Clarify that we talked about the other day.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that,
You got the feed through the exterior. I mean,
and I have these bags that I literally feel like the county of
you have
Cleveland
the stinky
County
bags that you put outside and they get filled with flies and they smell like something died.
Well, you change them out. Once they start to really stink, you just move them.
But
you change them out.
I rode by one on the lawnmower the other day and almost passed out. I was like, what the hell?
But you can't let them get that much. They're not catching anything. But in this way, people who sell the big giant bags, like those are gross because like it's going to be too many dead things. But anyway, I've got the bags. I've got the Clarify. I've got the fly predators. But there's more to be done. And here's where our friends at Chewy come in, because even though it's here, you can fend them off with a little bit of help from the people at Chewy. They've got everything you need to help keep your horse happy and comfortable. They have the feed through fly control. They have all the fly sprays, roll-ons, protective gear like masks, sheets, and boots. By the way, all my horses have boots and masks. I can't do the sheets. It's too hot. Here's a pro tip. If you haven't done it yet, now's the perfect time to set your essentials on auto ship so you're covered all season long without even having to think about it. Chewy carries the top brands you already trust: Simplify, Ultra Shield, Cashel, Shoe Fly, and you can find them all in one spot. Just head over to chewy.com/equine or shop in the Chewy app today. Oh my God, there's an app. God. Cool. More money. Spend less time fighting flies and more time in the saddle, because for life with horses, there's Chewy.
We are excited to have Dr. Karsten Key with us. He's a Danish veterinarian with 25 years of experience running a clinic in Denmark, and he's come up with a brand new app that's going to help us detect lameness in our horses. Dr. Key, thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for inviting me. I'm really thrilled to be here. So thank you.
Where are you at right now? Where you in Denmark someplace?
I am in Denmark. I'm in Copenhagen. So we are based in Copenhagen, Denmark. And that's where I work and where my veterinary clinic is based. So yes, that's where we are.
Glenn, he's in the future. So
that's right. That's right.
I mean, how's our day going to go?
Yeah, that's it.
So, is it a big horse area around Copenhagen?
It is, yes. Actually, I think people don't know that, but Denmark, Sweden, our neighbor country, and Belgium are the three countries in the world with the most horses per capita. So this is a big horse country, but it's a small country. So that's why you don't know about it. I think we only 6 million people in Denmark. So
they do have some of the best warm bloods too. You mentioned those countries: the Swedish warm blood, the Danish warm. Like those are all the best.
Yeah, we have a lot of warm blood, yes, and a lot of breeding of warm blood, and also a lot of export of horses to the States. Yeah. That's true.
So you're dealing with a lot of sport horses, I assume. Like here, you also have a lot of backyard trail horses in the area as well.
Yeah, we have a lot. I mean, it's everything really. It's race horses, it's riding horses, it's dressage, and it's show jumping. We don't have any. I mean, almost no sort of Western disciplines in Denmark. Very, very rarely. But warm bloods and show jumping and dressage, that's the main thing. Yes.
Yeah, when
I also worked in England when my career started 25 years ago. So I've been sort of around as a vet, seeing other disciplines over there.
Well, I know that a lot of our pros and people competing over here go to your country and countries around you to shop for horses. And one of the things they're always worried about is lameness, right? And that's where this app comes in. It's called Realhorse. So tell us about the app. What's it do?
Well, it detects lameness, as you say, and it detects lameness at a very precise level. So my frustration as a vet, I mean, in 25 years, has always been that even though I don't look, I mean, almost every day I look at lame horses. That's my work, and it always has been my work, just looking at lame horses. And having done it for my entire year, that life, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily always easy. And it's difficult to see subtle lamenesses. It's difficult to see if you get improvement from diagnostic blocks and etc. And for this reason, there's been other companies who've developed technology to help us, but I just came about a guy who I talked to about, the computer vision technology coming in now, and it's just getting so much better, so much easier, very, very quickly. So we started working on this technology 5 years ago. And the reason is, I wanted to be able to create an app where horse owners and professionals, veterinarians can just pick up their phone from their pocket and film their horse and get an immediate answer on how the status is. Do you have a mild lameness? Do you have mild asymmetry? So that's the main reason. We've worked a long time for that.
So if I get the app, obviously do I film my horse then moving it to walk, trot, canter, or how does that work specifically?
Only trot. Only trot.
Okay.
And that's because trot is a symmetric gait where the horse puts even amount of load on the left and the right leg pairs, whereas canter is not an even gait, or gallop is not a symmetric gait. And then you have the walk, which is also a symmetric gait, but the speed is not high enough to sort of put enough load on the legs to see the subtle lameness. So you only see very clear lameness at the walk. So that's the reason why we always look at the horses in trots and without a rider, because the rider is also disturbed to the bones.
Yeah, because if the rider's off balance or whatever,
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And do you need a baseline? In other words, do I need to be filming the horse first when it's not lame, and then it detects lameness by going back to the baseline?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
No, not necessarily. But we do create a baseline. We compare everything from the baseline and going forward. And you can create new baselines all the time. So you keep the story or the history of your horse on your phone, and then you compare with the baseline that you choose to compare with. So you do that. It's a good idea to, as you probably, exactly as you say, to not just use this technology when you have a problem. You should use it not every day, maybe every week as a routine. And then really you are able to see or detect asymmetries before they become lameness. So this is also a preventive thing, because lameness, as you know, is the most common cause of early retirement for horses. So this is really, it should be really important for everyone, really, to prevent severe lameness. And I know this is probably controversial, and that I say prevent lameness, because people will say that you cannot prevent lameness. I completely disagree with that. In fact, you can absolutely prevent lameness, because the most expensive horses in the world, they are not checked when they're lame. They're checked regularly by vets. So why not do that with every horse when we have the technology to do it?
And it makes sense too. Like, who would say we can't prevent lameness? Every time I have a jump school, we poultice our horse's legs. We do, all sorts of, we do pulse,
Absolutely.
we do red light, we do all the things. So I'm confused. So basically, I just need somebody to jog my horse for me, and I film it, and the app tells me where there's something now. Like, how's it work?
Yeah, exactly. Or you can either have someone jog the horse up, trot it up on the straight line, and then you film the horse from the side. The easiest way, and the way where we recommend for the sort of the routine screening of your horse, is just lunging your horse on both reins, left and right. And you can do it, if you have a good horse for lunging, you can do it alone then. So you just, when you start lunging and when it's trotting calmly on the rein, then you just pick up the phone from your pocket and record on both reins. And then you have an answer in minutes, 1 minute probably, and you don't need internet for that as well, which is also a thing that we've worked hard on, because internet is you have internet some places, but you don't need internet for this. So you don't need a high-speed internet connection for us to do this analysis in a cloud-based solution. So this is on your phone.
Yeah, that's done. So that's interesting that it's done locally, because so many apps today are not. And a lot of, we claim to be a technologically advanced country, but we have so many places around this country that have crappy internet. So I'm glad to hear that. Can it truly detect?
There's also a big country you have, so you have a big excuse there. So.
Yeah. So can it really detect before the human eye? Can it detect before the human eye when something's off? Yeah.
I would say absolutely yes. We have a precision of 1 millimeter on the trial level, and I think that's the highest precision any gait analysis device has, really. And it's validated handheld. We're also the only company who's validated the system as a handheld device because, they're not validated with a tripod. If no one uses it with tripod, then you don't really know if it's precise enough. So we can see the differences with 1 millimeter's precision.
And is it using AI to help assist with the analysis?
Yes, I'm a bit cautious with using the term AI because it's going to get a negative.
You don't have to be cautious here. We talk about it all the time. So.
It is, well, yes, but it is AI, but it's descriptive AI, so it's not generative AI. So that's a big difference. This is the same type of AI that you have in your Teslas or your advanced modern cars. We're looking at the surroundings, but we're not making anything up. We're just looking at it.
Okay.
So there's no hallucinations here at all.
All right. So I'm on the App Store right now because this sounds absolutely incredible to just have for lack of a better word, a veterinarian at my fingertips, right? To just film the horse. And the cool thing is you can probably send this data to your veterinarian as well. But I'm looking on the App Store, Realhorse, and there's one that's Realhorse Health and Fitness. And then the other one is Realhorse, and it's 2 words. And I can raise...
This is 1 word.
Yes, with this one, I can raise and take care of my own virtual horse. So I'm probably going to go.
That's not me. That's not me.
Now, I see it's iPhone only now. Now, Jamie's iPhone, I'm Android. Is there going to be an Android version?
We are working on an Android version, but it's quite complicated to do this because we're using the camera technology and we're also using the iPhone processor to process the data on the phone. So we'll probably... produce an Android version at some point, but right now we're not working on it.
Yeah. You got the important one, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
I mean, I get that because
it doesn't need to be a completely modern iPhone. I know people, they buy a cheap iPhone actually just to be able to use Realhorse, so that's also a possibility. It doesn't need phone connection, so it could be.
What I like about this, I just downloaded it and it says, trying to figure out the plans and the premium, which is you can do 3 horses, in-depth graph analysis, video analysis, all the things. You can chat with vets is $299 a year. And then unlimited is $599 a year. So basically, if you look at $299 a year, there is a 14-day free trial, which is fantastic. But I mean, price-wise, this is less than a vet visit,
Yeah, and the premium version, that includes online guidance from us, our veterinarians. So if you have any issues, you want recommendations on both the videos and the online analysis data, then you just contact us in the app. That's included in the price. So we're trying to do this so it's affordable. To be honest, we want to get this technology out to as many people as possible.
Well,
and I think the unlimited version, that's the professional version for the professional horse owner with more than 3 horses, but also for all the young veterinarians out there. I mean, I've been a veterinarian for 25 years, but I remember when I was just started. This is really difficult, and you're in an environment where there's a lot of at stake when you have an owner with a horse that's lame. It's just so much easier for the young vets to be able to record the horse, get some documentation on the work they're doing. Then they do their diagnostic blocks, and then they also get complete documentation of the results of the diagnostic blocks they do. So this, I think, is really important because it's a hard job to be an equine veterinarian today. A young equine veterinarian, that's not easy. So
okay, so that does bring up a good question. If it detects lameness in my horse, does it give the possible reasons for that lameness, or what happens after it detects lameness?
No. Yeah. Then you get some recommendations in the app. There's a text, you get an immediate asymmetry diagnosis. So you get a diagnosis of which leg is the predominantly asymmetric leg and at what degree, how many millimeters of asymmetry is it? Is it in the impact phase or the push-off phase? So you get a lot of data and a lot of instructions in the app helping you to get around those. But then we have what we call a what to make of it text. So a text describing what we recommend the owner do, and that's an automated text based on the exact analysis you've done. And, oftentimes it doesn't mean that you don't have to use a vet. It just means that you know exactly what's going on. And then we recommend if you should call your vet straight away, or if you should give your horse rest and reanalyze it in a week or something like that. So that's different from every time you do an analysis.
So it basically gives a starting point for where the vet can start to look for what the flexion tests or whatever's needed to see what's up.
What this will be actually great for is whenever somebody posts a video online, they're like, what leg do you think my horse is lame in? Exactly. And there's 9 billion comments of all different things. Yeah. Like, put it in the app.
The thing is, and people shouldn't be, that's completely normal. Even the best veterinarians in the world, if we ask them at a big conference like the AAEP or the British Equine Veterinary Association's conference, this has been done many times, where we get like a polling station for every vet, and then we ask them to look at the screen and say, which leg is this horse lame on? And we only agree on which leg the horse is lame on in 60% of the cases.
Oh my gosh.
No way.
So this is difficult. It's easy enough if you have a front limb lameness where it's like 2 to 5 or 3 degrees lame out of 5. That's not a problem at all. But the kind of lameness that we look at normally is mild lameness, and that's not easy at all for anyone.
Well, it's realhorse.com. Certainly an easy enough URL.
One word.
Yeah, and one horse alone is only $8 per month after the 14th day free trial. So it's very easy and cheap to get started.
This would be good for farriers too. Just any professional, right? It would that way.
I'm
too.
actually speaking at an Australian conference on Saturday. So for a group of veterinarians and farriers, where they sort of realize we need to work together and I think have a common language.
I think that's happening more and more now, at least in the United States, where the farriers and the vets are starting to work together more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as vets, we really rely on a good farrier to help us, put the load off the injured structure. And we're getting better and better at knowing and what's going on exactly. And, I work with farriers as well. And then sometimes we put a new shoe on a horse, like a horse with a suspensory issue, and then we can see immediate effects in the app just from putting that shoe on, because realistically, you're putting load onto another structure. So if you put a special shoe on for a suspensory issue, you put load on the deep flexor tendon. And by doing that, you take load off the suspensory ligament. And it's quite fascinating to see these differences sort of straight away on the app when you put the shoe on.
Jamie, I'm thinking about you. Jamie works with retiring thoroughbreds, getting them ready to find a new life. And you deal with this stuff all the time with those.
Yes, this is amazing. I was just looking at that.
Send me an email afterwards, Jamie, because I actually give free subscriptions, unlimited subscriptions to anyone that can document that they work with like rehabilitation and stuff like that.
Well, she's very certified in that. So
not just you, but also the other listeners around. If you work like that, we want to support that, so you can get a free subscription.
That's fantastic.
This will be she's actually, what are you over now? 200 adoptions, and like over half of those are with our listeners. So
I've trained, I've restarted 230 off the track thoroughbreds by myself, and it's my favorite.
That's fantastic work. Yeah, and I think thoroughbreds are my favorite type of horse, so that I understand.
I love you more now. Okay, in the land of warm bloods, he likes thoroughbreds.
Don't tell my clients that, because we don't have that many thoroughbreds in Denmark. But I really like the thoroughbreds.
Maybe that's why you like them, is you haven't had to deal with them a lot.
Well, I have. Yeah, we do have, but yeah.
That's awesome.
So, this is great.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to support that kind of work. And that's also something you can do. These horses, they're not necessarily sound, but it's easier to know what's going on with the horse if you have a history of that horse. And then when you send it off to a new life somewhere, then you can say, well, it is mildly lame or mildly asymmetric on the left fore, but this is a completely, there's no change. It's not getting worse. We've done this and this work with it, so we believe it's, it can have a good life.
And where that gets actually super helpful is like, okay, here's the issue that we have. This is a horse that you're adopting. This is the knowledge that you can take to your veterinarian when you take this horse home. So that's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. Also, I think right when you get him in, you film them the day you get him in, and then you film them the day you leave, and you can see how it's changed, if at all, over time, better or worse.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
God, I'm gonna have.
And I think in the future we're going to use this for in the vetting situations as well. We will ask the client, do you have a history of this also? An objective gait analysis history, because that's helpful. It's easier for us to do a risk assessment on a horse, because doing a vetting, that's just 1 hour of work where you look at 1 hour of this horse's life, and then you're going to be asked to foresee what's going to happen with this horse in the future. That's very difficult. But if you know what's been going on with it objectively in the past, it is actually easier to say, well, it has an issue here, but it's likely that this horse can have a good career with you doing the job that you ask it to do.
Well, Dr. Kay, we appreciate you joining us today. It's realhorse.com.
As horse owners, we have an unlimited supply of love for our animals, but we tend to underestimate the cost of their care. Routine and unexpected expenses can quickly add up, making it hard to keep pace. So wouldn't it feel great to be prepared with a budget-friendly way to manage these costs? The Care Credit Health and Animal Care Credit Card can help give you financial peace of mind. With flexible financing from Care Credit, you get to care your horse needs and then pay over time in easy monthly payments. You can use Care Credit at more than 25,000 veterinary hospitals. That accept the card, and you can pay for everything from annual exams, vaccinations, parasite controls, procedures, nutrition diagnostics, and surgery. My small animal also takes it. Large, small, they don't care. Care Credit, it's your card for a lifetime of care, subject to credit approval. To learn more and apply, visit carecredit.com/horses and pets.
Well, coming up next, I actually looked into the archives for this and went back and found, and I knew we had done one. We did an interview with Dr. Sonja Swiger. She's an entomologist at the Department of Entomology at Texas A&M, and we did this in July of last year, but I wanted to replay it for everybody. If you want to skip this, skip ahead 10 minutes, but she talked about screwworms, how they work, what they do, and got into the gross nitty-gritty of it. And I just thought, it's a good time to replay this because we had her on before it hit the United States, and it was like it might happen someday. Well, someday's here. And so I thought it would be a good idea and I found it a good refresher for me when I listened to it this morning. So I'm going to play it for you, and here we go. I'm excited to have the guest on. I am not excited about the topic today. We've been doing health reports for 15 years every Wednesday, and this is the one I think I'm least excited about, to be honest with you, Dr. Swiger. So Dr. Swiger is a professor at the Department of Entomology at Texas A&M, and we've been saying for weeks we have to get somebody on to talk about New World Screwworm, which just sounds delightful, Dr. Swiger. It really does.
Yes.
This is your life, your job here is studying things like this, but we've been hearing a lot about it lately, even from the USEF, and of course, they stopped imports of animals from Mexico for a while. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But why? Why the big... I had never heard of screwworm. So why the big fuss over it?
Yeah, the screwworm itself, this one in particular, the New World Screwworm, is a blowfly species that will lay eggs on living animals. So if an animal has a wound, or even if they don't, and they have mucous membranes that are exposed and the fly finds it tasty, they'll put those eggs on there and then the larva will eat it, which of course is never a great situation because being consumed alive by fly larvae is not usually on anybody's to-do list.
Does it go from that point out? Is that what happens? It just disintegrates the flesh?
So it just, the larvae just start consuming the flesh of that animal. And then eventually, if they're not tended to, those larvae will get into vital organs or cause a shock to the system of that animal. And then they'll succumb to that infestation. So
we had a cat that was bitten by a brown recluse spider. And I got to tell you, that was gross because basically the whole leg disintegrated.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yeah. And from what I hear, these can be really bad in that, the wound gets really nasty and, it's got fly larvae in it, and larva maggots, they actually have to digest that material by basically spitting digestive juices on it. So really disgusting, and it smells bad, right? So you get this festering wound and the tissue's breaking down, the larvae are feeding on it, all this bacteria. And, that's never a good situation. So it can get really gross really fast.
Right, I apologize to anybody eating lunch right now. So let's back up a little bit. Where are they now, and why are we so concerned about it at this point in time?
Yeah. So, we went through a process many years back. It's been over 40 years since they've been in the U.S., where we eradicated them from the United States and down through Mexico and through Central America. But now, as of the last couple of years, they have slowly moved beyond what we call the biological barrier, which is set forth at the Darien Gap in Panama. So now they're found in all of Central America again, up into the southern section of Mexico. So the most northwestern area has been reported as Oaxaca, and they have not moved since that location has been reported, which is a really good thing, but they are not supposed to be in Mexico, and they're not supposed to be in Central America. So
great. So, so obviously this country, even the government was concerned about them arriving here because I live in Florida. We always get the weirdest stuff, right? It always ends up in Florida for some reason. But how concerned are you?
I'm concerned enough that I'm glad we're talking about it. It is something we've always kind of looked into. So I'm actually originally from Florida too. So I grew up in that state, did education, learned about them in a textbook, and it was always like, we don't want them to come back because they were here a long time ago. So we've always been cognizant that they're out there. We do have obviously all these inspection stations set up for multiple things. And one of them was screwworms. It just wasn't talked about, right? But if you're bringing animals in, we check them for other things, and this is one of those things. So it's always been on the radar for some people, those that are entomologists, those that work at these inspection supports and things of that sort. But now it's a little bit more concerning because the opportunity is closer, and there's more of a concern of animals being brought in from different areas we may have not necessarily been checking as thoroughly because they didn't have the screwworm. So not having it eases our mind a little better. But so it does increase it some. we want to be aware. We want to make sure it doesn't show up, but it's not going to get here on its own right. That fly can't fly that far, but we do want to definitely have people aware that, hey, don't bring stuff in without it being looked at first.
Okay. Well, I do want to talk to you about, what do we look for? How do you prevent it? That kind of thing. But I did want to mention the Department of Agriculture stopped cattle, bison, equine, basically four-legged animals from coming in from Mexico for a period of time. Now I just saw 2 minutes before I called you that they're going to restart bringing animals in July the 7th. So is it safe to do that, or are they just...
It is. There are stipulations to it. So those animals that are going to be allowed to come in first can only come from Sonora or Chihuahua, the states in Mexico, and they can only go through the Arizona port to begin with. So they've set forth ports in which they'll open starting from Arizona, moving towards Texas. So New Mexico's ports will be next on the list, and then eventually Texas if everything goes smoothly and there's no issues. But the cattle have to right now have been born and bred and raised in those states in Sonora or Chihuahua, or follow the New World Screwworm Protocol. So there's still some restrictions, so to speak. They're not just letting mass entry. They do have to come from certain areas. And as they come towards Texas and start opening our ports, there's other limitations and restrictions they have to follow. They have to also come from particular areas in Mexico to be allowed in. So they are keeping a closer watch on it, I guess is the way to put it. And they're not just letting any animals through.
But how do they do that? Do they run them through big fly spray machines before they come in? What are we doing to stop them from...
There are processes, and a lot of animals that do come in do go through treatment protocols. They have to be dipped in a lot of situations or treated with some type of an injectable based on the protocols. But they're also inspected by humans. Really what it comes down to is they literally have to be looked at by a human being and checked all over. So, and it's something we've been doing in Texas for a long time for ticks. So we have a cattle fever tick. Whoa, my mouth is not going to work there. And we have stations set up that they come through those ports and they have to be inspected for ticks. So it'll be similar to what we've been doing here for many years.
Okay. So a couple of the obvious questions is How can you prevent them? And is there a treatment after the bad stuff starts?
Yeah. So right now, the best thing is to be educated. That's how you prevent it. You know what it is, you know what to look for, you know not to bring animals from an area that has them actively moving around. So all of South America still has them for the most part, and some Caribbean island countries have them as well. So if you bring animals from there, you should, they have to follow protocols of particular sorts to make sure that we don't bring any infested animals in. That's the top things we can do. When it comes to treatments per se, at this time, there's really nothing that you could put on that would be effective since the fly is not currently present. So, it's almost like waste of effort, and it's not healthy to be putting out chemicals for something we can't actually control.
So let's say, though, just a horse that in South America gets it. What is there a treatment, once it starts eating away?
So, what they do in South America will be very different when we do here in America. So I'm sure they have a process and they have products. One of the main things is wound care. Because again, it's going to be a wound that will have maggots inside it. And since it starts off small, you want to be out there observing for those kind of situations. Then you treat the wound, you kill the larva, you make sure they all die and come out of that wound. And that's basically what treatment is. In the area where we do the sterile insect technique processing, which is what's happening in Mexico and what was going on in Panama, they'll also release those sterile males at the same time as doing all of the treatments for the animals to help get rid of those numbers. Now in South America, they don't have that program, so they just have to do wound care.
Okay, so that's what they're doing. That's one of the ways they're trying to slow them down is the sterile treatment.
So the sterile male eradication program is the most effective way to get rid of them, and it is to eradicate them. And that's what we did back in the day. So back when we developed that in the United States, that's how we rid the United States of these flies, and Mexico and Central America. And that program is still in operation. It just runs out of Panama now.
It's interesting. One of our sister companies is Spalding Fly Predators. So it kind of reminds me of that, right? Where they're put out there to control the flies, in a little bit different way, but
yes.
Yeah. So the final question is, once a horse gets it, is it quick? Is it fast? I mean, is this a 3-month process where they're eating away, or is this go quick?
So everything I've read, because again, the last time it was in the U.S. was before I was born, is that if we don't treat and cure that animal within a week, they'll die. Oh, wow. So, and the main reason is more because where those larvae have been laid is a more of a vital location. It's not that the larva ate the entire animal, so to speak. Right. It's that it was in the head and it got to the brain, or it was in the belly and it got to the internal organs. So it causes the systems to shut down probably prior to the actual full consumption of said animal. But so yeah, they do need to be treated. You can't leave them. They will not survive an infestation. So it is a very severe situation.
For first-time horse owners and new riders just starting out, finding the information and support you need can be challenging. That's why Equine Network has partnered with Sentinel Feed to bring you My New Horse, a place where equestrians just getting into horse ownership or riding will find the resources and community they need at precisely their stage of the equine journey. From important horse-keeping information and how-to videos to social media communities and more, My New Horse is your one-stop shop for riders of all levels and disciplines who are eager to find easy-to-understand horse care information and guidance. Start your horse ownership journey today. Visit mynewhorse.com.
This day in equine history, we're going to start out in the year 1870. Do you know by the year 1870, there were 46 U.S. patents issued for horseshoe nail making machines? If you think about it, in the old days, horseshoe nails were made by hand, right? And that was part of the blacksmith's job to make the nails. Well, they came up, I was shocked, by 1870, there were 46 nail-making machines out there. And of course, everything was driven by horses back then, so this was an important topic. And it was around this time also that the shape they use today came into production. So when you think about it, that's 150 years ago. Our nails, really, they've been tweaked a little bit since then, but that basic shape has been used for about 150 years. And then we're heading to June 9th of 1973.
Good day. I know what this is.
Do you? Secretariat won the Belmont by an astonishing 31 lengths, clinching the Triple Crown and setting the still standing record up for a mile and a half of 2:24. So, everybody still says it was probably the greatest horse race ever run. And I mean, I don't know how you could argue with that. So.
It's really, yeah, I have goosebumps just thinking about it.
And then on June 10th, 1981, I didn't know when this was opened either. The International Museum of the Horse opened to the public at the Kentucky Horse Park. And I think Jennifer and I, we went there in the early 1980s. Was the first time we went to the Kentucky Horse Park. So we must have seen this soon after it was opened. The museum became one of the world's premier institutions dedicated entirely to preserving and interpreting equine history from domestication to modern sport horses. It is a Smithsonian-affiliated institution, and there's an estimated 30 to 60,000 horse items there at the museum or held in their vaults there. But yeah.
So if it's a Smithsonian-operated or owned one, do they get like subsidies and government financing? I guess so.
I think so. And I also think that they get to share in the marketing and all that stuff too. And they get to use the resources of the Smithsonian if there's research to be done and things like that. So I think there's a lot of behind the scenes things they get for that. When's the last time you went through the museum? For me, it's been probably 10 years till I went.
It has been a while. I need to do it again. I mean, I have no excuse. I go every year, but I was just looking, I'm like, when did the horse park open up? 1978.
So the museum
amazing.
Was only a couple years after then when it opened. Yeah. And
what did they do in 1978? Like, hey guys, here's a farm. Yeah. It's a field. It's a park.
When the first time we went, so it had to be in the mid 80s, the first time we went. And we went to Kentucky. I'll never forget this. And we showed up and we didn't know at that time in the front field where they have parking and stuff now, they had polo. And it was the National Polo Championship was happening the day we went. So we ended up watching the National Polo Championship and we just happened to stumble upon it. And I'll never forget it because I was pretty new to this horse, probably boyfriend thing back then. And I was like, wow, do all people come in helicopters to horse events? Because multiple helicopters landed to let the rich people off to come watch the game. And I just thought that was a thing. I thought, wow, we're the only ones without a helicopter here. But then I learned after that there was only a few people that did that. But
okay, so just diving down, your history segments make me crazy because they just give me more questions and answers. So the first Kentucky 3-day event took place in September of 1978.
Right. And it wasn't called, it was called something else at that point.
The World 3-Day Event Championships.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure that's when Sylvester ran and won the whole thing.
That's yeah. So anyway, there's something that you don't think about is how long that's been there in the park, but it's something that we all take for granted. And I just remember, I think everybody remembers the first time they went. And I kind of remember the first time we went too. All right, let's head into a different kind of news.
Time to learn why some days you're embarrassed to be part of the human race. In Jamie's Weird News.
I'm also going to do a new segment called a segment within a segment, and it's called New Fear Unlocked. Okay. So
I thought we did that in the health segment every time we did one.
There's a lot of new fear unlocked. But first of all, let me tell you guys that if you want to participate in this, if you're ever looking through the news and you're like, oh, that is super weird, email it to weirdnews@horseradionetwork.com because you will participate and help me out in getting the content, much like Janelle, Glenn, Michelle, Aaron, Rachel, Laureen, Alicia, Shelly, and Carrie all did this week. So thank you guys very, very much. Okay, so in our new segment called New Fear Unlocked, this is a story that was on Fox News, and it takes place in Rio de Janeiro, okay? And so this woman is in a rideshare, and there's cameras everywhere. There's cameras everywhere. You cannot get away with anything anymore because you are being filmed. And fortunately, or unfortunately for me, because the fear that I now have on this is going to affect the rest of my life, is a woman who gets out of her rideshare and she starts walking down the road and she steps on a manhole cover and it flips up and she just falls in the hole.
Oh, into the sewer.
By the way, into the sewer. And mind you, when it flips up, her face meets. It's a very, very horrible video. Like, I don't say watch it because it is so frightening. Like, she steps on the corner of it. Now, mind you, she's wearing a hoodie. So she's got one hand in her pocket and one hand holding her phone. Never did she reach out to like brace or stop herself because it happened so fast. Basically, she's walking, steps on the manhole cover, it flips over, and she falls into the manhole. Like, new fear unlocked. Turns out they're saying that a couple men were seen tampering with the manhole cover hours before because people are now trying to steal metal. So, like, oh my God. Especially when I remember walking around with Electra in New York City and like all the greats, like, nope, I'm not walking on nothing anymore. I'm not leaving my farm. How about that? We'll just go with that. Stick with that. Okay.
Speaking of holes, before you go on, did you see that a huge sinkhole developed in an airport runway in Tennessee? Like the size of a house could fit in it. Now,
on the runway?
On the runway. Fortunately, not an airplane wasn't landing at that particular time or taking off. That would suck. But yeah, isn't that random?
Well, you know, that's interesting. You bring us to Tennessee because that's where we're going to stay with this story. So many people sent me this, and the video, I wouldn't have done it if so many people hadn't sent it to me because the video is what you need to see. And you can just Google it. Okay. Like, you'll find it. It is a tractor trailer that catches on fire.
I love this video.
I've
watched it 100 times.
In Tennessee. And it was like evening time. So it was perfect because what was inside the on fire tractor trailer, Glenn?
A whole crap load of fireworks.
I mean, it was quite the show on the Tennessee freeway. I mean, it's intense. Like, and they
there's
didn't even get the
multiple
video.
videos from different angles too. So I was watching all the different angles. And they couldn't get close to it to put it out because there were fireworks everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, we just got to let this one burn out, guys. They shut down the freeway in both directions. It was just east of Chattanooga, and it is.
The guy got out,
Nobody
right?
was hurt. Nobody was hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody was hurt, and it's just a super entertaining
I wonder
video.
how it
so
started. Did they ever say? Like,
they never said. There is no word on how the fire started, but I mean, you know, cars catch on fire.
Well,
tractor trailers.
And a lot of times with tractor trailers, it's the brakes are getting too hot, or there's something getting too hot. They didn't grease the bearings.
Pack and grease your bearings, everybody. Here's why. Oh, this one. I had an equal amount of people send me this one. And this one is, I mean, it's not new fear unlocked because this has always been a fear. So I'm just going to read the story, which is we're going to go to Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. Okay. Because there's a man who was driving his Toyota recklessly on I-10 in Jefferson Parish on Sunday, and state troopers were called. According to police, at one point, the car hit a concrete barrier and blew a tire. So the police finally caught up to him on I-310. And the driver, Victor Rivas, apparently showed some signs of impairment.
No.
So they
really?
were like, I know, weird. It's a Sunday morning. Why not? So they're like, get out of the car. And he's like, okay. And he gets out of the car and he takes off running. He just takes off. At some point, he jumped into a swamp to get out of the way. And they lost him. They couldn't find him. And then they found him later walking along Highway 10. But when they approached, he ran right back into the swamp. What are in swamps in Louisiana, Glenn?
Oh, there's nothing but alligators and swamps in Louisiana.
And he met one.
Oh,
he met one. He was then attacked by an alligator.
Is a bitch.
All right. How drunk are you when you're in Louisiana and you're like, a better option than prison is alligator attacks? So he sustained injuries to both arms, I guess, as he was trying to fight it off. They said he was still trying to run from law enforcement with bloody arms.
Oh my God.
He was then caught, taken to the hospital for his injuries. And then you're going to be shocked. This was not his first offense with a DUI.
No, really?
It was his second. So he knew how this whole thing was going to go.
I figured if you're getting caught with that on a Sunday morning, it's probably not your first offense with a DUI.
Yeah, no, he's in jail. He's still there. Yeah. Next.
How's the alligator? Probably happy.
He's probably pretty good. Okay. Then there's just really dumb people in the world. And I'm pointing to you, teenagers, because this is what one of you did. Okay. So a United Airlines flight was leaving Newark, New Jersey to go to Mallorca, Spain. And they get 4 hours to Spain. And it's a 9-hour flight. So 4 hours. And they're like, boop, boop, we got to turn this thing around. So the airplane, United Airlines, has to bust a U-turn and land. And United Airlines has to call, the radio in, the captain has to radio and be like, hi, we're going to have to come back. We have a bit of a problem. And they're like, what's going on? And they said, well, one person, there was like Bluetooth have names, I guess.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I was on the airplane the other day, when I looked to connect my Bluetooth, I saw all these Bluetooth names. There were a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
I didn't realize you could see everybody's. Yeah. Maybe this dumb A didn't either, because he had a 4-letter word as his Bluetooth name. Now, you're thinking, so there's a cuss word. Why would they return the plane? Yeah, the 4-letter word was bomb. He had his Bluetooth network labeled as bomb, and it freaks everybody out. They have to return. I don't know what happened to it, but apparently it was a teenage kid's speaker, and his Bluetooth was named bomb. They returned. I don't know if they kicked him off the flight or whatever, but plane did eventually land in Mallorca about 14 hours late, but they made it.
I don't know. I would have to. I don't know. I don't know if that would have jumped. I guess it would have jumped out at you if you saw on your list of potential Bluetooth connections bomb.
He's got a bomb!
Yeah, that would kind of jump out at you. Because if they're going to connect to the bomb to detonate it, then Bluetooth would probably be how they do it. Okay, I get where the problem is now.
Yeah, that's a problem. But to be fair, you cannot say that word.
No.
Even as joking anywhere in the airport, don't say that word.
Nope.
In an airport, in security, in nothing. Remember I told you the story of Larissa with her gun, and then they found a knife, and she was like, they couldn't find the bullets in the bottom of her purse, and she's like, just use my knife to cut the lining. Like, what? Even she knew not to say the word bomb.
She said every other bad word.
She says
gun, knife. Just not bomb.
Bullets, gun, knife, but not bomb. That's off limits. Okay. Now this story, we're going to go to a sheriff's office for this one. If it's making the news and it takes place in a police department, it's going to be good. Okay, Glenn. One man is getting a police officer got arrested in a police department. Why would you guess that a police officer in his office would get arrested?
Okay, so is it in Florida? I gotta qualify this.
This takes place in Myrtle Beach. Close.
Myrtle Beach. Okay, the Carolinas. I don't know. He was in his office when he got arrested?
He was in the precinct, in the building.
I don't know.
Did
he call him bomb threat? Let's get out of work.
I just don't know how to tell you this because it's so stupid. Okay, say you're in the break room at an office. I've worked in an office before, and somebody microwaves something.
Oh,
what
fish.
Are the worst
Every time it's fish.
Things?
Oh, it's fish. It's definitely fish.
So somebody microwaved fish in the office.
Oh, he should be shot, not put in jail.
He
should be
shot.
No.
That's what he did. He pulled a gun on the guy that microwaved fish.
I don't blame him, actually. I think that should be allowed.
And
That only happened one time when I worked in an office. They microwaved their leftover fish and chips, and it was awful. It's worse than burnt popcorn, which also should be illegal. So,
yes. Or just non-burnt popcorn, because anybody wants popcorn. So he was booked into the Horry County Jail. He was later released without bond. Now, it does say in the article, court records do not indicate what kind of fish was being microwaved.
Doesn't matter.
And then in parentheses, it said, which itself could be considered criminal behavior. Microwaving fish.
Okay, he's going to be left off. The judge is going to see that and say, you had every right to do that.
He literally drew a weapon on somebody, other cop in the office who microwave fish. Let this be a lesson to you people. Do not microwave offensive smelling things in an office.
Yeah, fish is the one thing you never do in an office. I think actually the one office I worked at, it even had a sign, no microwaving fish.
I love that you thought the guy who microwaved it got arrested.
He should have.
And there you go.
Okay,
you guys,
so
if
now,
you ever...
I think it was a guy that microwaved the fish, because no woman would do that in an office because they know how offensive it is.
Oh. Let's see. No, they clearly say it's a man. They confronted the man about warming the fish up in the microwave.
There you go.
Causing an odor in office.
There you
During the
go.
confrontation, Detective de Blase drew and pointed his department-issued handgun at the other officer. Oh, my God.
Oh, you know what would have been better, actually, if he hadn't done the gun and he'd done the stun gun and actually stunned the guy for doing the fish.
Him.
I think tasing him would have been better.
Oh, God. Okay, so remember, if you are ever looking at a news story and you're like, dude, that is super weird, email it to weirdnews@horseradionetwork.com and help a brother out. Come on, let's do it.
All right, auditors, hang on for the post show. We have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we'll hang around with you for a little bit. And we'll be back here on Friday with some really bad ads. So get your ads into Jennifer at horseradionetwork.com. And this month we're playing For a Box of Crap Out of My Closet.
Spay, neuter, geld, everybody.